Hemen Kapadia is now with us. Hemen, good afternoon. Thank you so much for taking out time for us. First, a quick view on the market. How do you think we would shape up from here on?
Very good afternoon to you, Pankaj. Thank you for having me. We are retracing the fall from 83.50, Pankaj. 77 surprisingly held. So extreme near term, no, I'm not sure extreme near term, but next week or 10 days or maybe 2 weeks, we seem to be positive. I don't think there's too much of headroom in the markets in the sense we are positive, but it would be a very, very, very pleasant surprise if we take out 82.50 and start running up. So not too much of headroom, so it could take some time. Individually, stocks are doing what they have to. A lot of action seen in mid caps and small cap stocks. So extreme short term for a day or two, I think we walked into small correction because we've been up from 7,700. But otherwise, yeah, I would be slightly positive than negative for the next couple of weeks.
But you don't see a swift rally coming in either?
No, I don't think so. Individually, stock specific, yes, but market, no, I don't think so. It's positive, but I don't, like I said, if 82.50, 8300, actually the earlier level was 83.70, there's a downward slanting supply line which comes progressively lower. If that gets taken out, I think that then we see some unlikely sharp move. Otherwise, no.
Right. What will be your view as far as the changes in the lot size is concerned? We've seen a substantial decline in terms of volume. Do you think markets investors will take some time to adjust to this new change?
Yes, I think so. I don't think the change was. I think it's probably counterproductive. I think liquidity goes down, impact cost goes up, and if the retail investor is pushed out of the market, I don't know how that helps anybody. So it's going to take a long time, and I'm not sure if most of the retail investors will come back to the market as far as F&O is concerned with such a big market lot. Earlier you used to see a stock giving a breakout, then you'd see follow-up buying and a run-up coming in. Now, okay, the patterns will change because of the change in the market lot, but I think it's a negative step the way I look at things.
Right, but we've seen such changes happening earlier. Always people were talking about the time, the time changes that we did to the market. Any changes, can lead to counterproductive moves as well. But do you think markets will adjust in terms of these changes? It's a big change, of course, but do you think investors will take some time, and once we have a bull run, probably people will forget?
Well, yes and no. I think the time changes haven't helped anything much except the exchanges in terms of volumes going up a bit. I'm not sure if that has made too much. But Pankaj, even this, like you said, it's going to take time. Maybe a bull run gets people back. But on the other hand, a person who can't afford it will stretch himself and get into trouble. So, see, it's like cigarette smoking is injurious to health. Everybody knows that. If you're coming into F&O, it's dangerous. I thought the lot size should have been reduced from 2 lakhs to 1 lakh instead of making it 5 lakhs.
Right, so that a smaller one can participate much more, yes, and the larger one can buy in terms of higher number of quantities.
Yes, absolutely. Now, if I were a retail investor, if I had a smaller market lot, I'd buy 2-3 lots, book profit on 5 rupees, and then carry the position forward. Now, in this one position itself is so big. I think it's a free market here. I'm not sure how this helps anybody, but that's my point of view.
Right. Let's talk about some names. Interesting moves coming in. Infosys has started to see a up move. It has had a very big round of underperformance, and we were talking to a couple of IT guys, and they were telling us that they were not quite sure why this selling is happening. You think at least a near-term bottom has been made at 1,050 odd levels?
Actually, it's a paradoxical situation, Pankaj. I am bullish on the dollar, so that it means that I should be bullish on IT. If you go just by technicals, the picture doesn't look so sanguine or positive. But near term, yes, I think, Pankaj, we saw Infi come down from 1160 to 1010. We are seeing a bounce back, a recovery of this. We are already at 1087. There's a lot of resistance at 1090, 1100, 1110. So I don't think it's going to be a trouble-free ride. The basic picture is sideways to negative. We are bouncing back within this overall picture. It's only the strong dollar which is a saving grace. So I wouldn't be too excited about IT, though I'm bullish on the dollar.
Right. None of the large cap ones? Tech Mahindra, Wipro, or just the IT index overall, what would be your view?
Okay, all of them, Pankaj, are slightly differently placed, but overall, you're right. I think if you look at the BSE IT index, things are showing that we are in a downtrend, what is probably an intermediate downtrend, and within that intermediate downtrend, we are giving a bounce back. So the bigger picture is sideways, the longer term charts have reflected negatives in the sense some of the longer term mechanical indicators have given sell signals. They could take some time. They not necessarily mean they are going to go down much. But I think there's also clear cap on the upside the way I look at things.
Right. Then let's talk about auto. That's a space which has done well. And this time we're not talking about Maruti. We are talking about names like Bajaj Auto, names like Tata Motors, Hero MotoCorp, done very, very well. You think there is still a lot of steam remaining over there?
Well, if you look at the BSE Auto Index, yes, I think it's better placed. Maruti is in the proximity of its all-time high, so that continues to show resilience. Bajaj Auto is very peculiarly placed, Pankaj, in the sense it doesn't look bad at all. In fact, it looks good. But thing is that we are moving in this almost 12 to 14 month trading range, and now things are technically turning positive, Pankaj. So either this is a big consolidation happening on the monthly charts and we sort of take out 2700 and go to 30 to 3400, which is a distinct possibility. Currently, it's a bit premature to take that call, but things are turning positive. Hero Moto, yes, I think it is positive on the charts. We are in an intermediate uptrend. I think we're on the verge of taking out a supply line. We're currently breaking out of a 5-week consolidation. So yes, overall auto does look good. It's Hero which seems to be having the momentum in the near term, and Bajaj could be a surprise in the next quarter, I think, because if it breaks out from this consolidation phase, I think it could do wonders.
MSCI buying is behind. We are seeing a sell-off coming in. How do you essentially look at this name? Again, one of the names that has not corrected despite markets doing what they have.
The bigger picture is still intact. We just posted a fresh all-time high last week. I think a small bottom on the daily chart was at around 4518, Pankaj. We're just breaking that as we speak. I think near term the outlook is turning, extreme near term the outlook is turning negative. We saw downward key reversal coming in last week, Pankaj. So one gets the feeling that unless we take out 4800, right now that is not on the horizon. We could slip to 4450 or so and maybe lower.
Right, 4450. So there's not much downside even from here on.
No, we are in a long-term uptrend which is still intact, Pankaj. If there's going to be a trend reversal, it will be a distribution. I don't think there'll be a complete U-turn and no.
Right. Hemant, let's talk about another MSCI interesting name, and that is Ashok Leyland. Again, today there was buying 3.6 times of volumes you would have already seen in the volume picture. And again, it went to the highs of 100 today, and now you can just see in the last 25-30 minutes what's happening on the chart. Once the buying is behind, it's done. And now you think probably it will start reacting to the MHCV news?
Yes, possibly. I think, like you said, convoluted movements thanks to MSCI. And we should have held above 97, obviously. If it's a specific event, I don't think normal criteria would apply, Pankaj. But if we slip below 97 like we are, I'm not sure about the adjusted closing, which might still be above 97. But if we don't sustain above 97 to 1 in the near term, I think we could slip a bit.
Hemant, we spoke about 2-3 names from the MSCI index. Cadila, what will be your view over there? Again, you could go wrong with the adjusted close. So just tell us what do you feel can happen in the near term?
We sort of flattened. The weekly picture has turned just a shade negative. The monthly is okay, and we seem to be moving in a symmetrical triangle on the daily chart, Pankaj. We would have to wait for breakout on either side to take the trend forward.
Right. As of now, there is no view on this thing.
No, it's slightly mixed, Pankaj. The bigger long-term charts are okay. The weekly charts are distinctly getting negative, but the daily chart is in a triangle. So we are in a consolidation or distribution phase, depending on which side we break out on, Pankaj.
Right. There is a news flow which is expected into this name. They are expected to launch a drug in the next 7-8 days. So do you think markets or any investors are just essentially waiting for that, and probably do they launch or they don't, then essentially new trades or new investors would come in?
I think so, Pankaj. I didn't know this fundamental development.
So I'll tell you, on 15th of November, they were expected to launch a very, very big drug, which was expected to lead to growth. But their facility is having US FDA problems, so they were unable to launch so. But what was the investors' view was that even if they launch within 20 to 25 days of that, which means till about 10th of December, it should be fine. It will not impact their numbers. But beyond that, they would have to start cutting their estimates. So you think that probably closer towards 10 December, we'll start to get any trend into this name?
I think so, Pankaj, because what you said, in technical parameters, the movements have become restrictive. It's bouncing around less, so obviously it's coiling up. like you said, depending on which way the news flow is, it will give a breakout. So this triangle on the daily chart seems to be encapsulating what you said, Pankaj.
Right. Let's look at IDBI, 8% higher. And if you just pull up any PSU bank chart, Hemen, it's not given 40-50% returns, but this name has given. You think it's likely to go up further?
I think if it sustains above 89.90, we are obviously above that today. But if it sustains above 90, then I'd say we could go up further. I'm not sure how much risk-reward ratio is in the favor of an investor buying at this stage, but I think 90 needs to be kept as a stop loss.
Right, but overall, decline should be used as buying opportunity?
Things are not looking bad, but traditionally IDBI has never held or performed or outperformed. So maybe is this a real time? I'm not sure. I would go to something like a State Bank of India, Pankaj. That looks technically more better. On a small correction, State Bank seems to be shaping up well. The daily and the weekly picture has improved, and the stock is on the verge of breaking out from a ascending triangle. So I think that looks interesting.
Right. Any view on Bank of Baroda as well? One name that institutions want to own in PSU is BOB.
It's always been high beta. Currently, it has an upward bias, no doubt on that. I think 195 will be important from a weekly point of view or from a 2 trading session point of view, Pankaj. So that does look better, but I still sound repetitive, but I prefer State Bank.
Right. Let's talk about some other names as well. So if I pull up the mid-cap index, we spoke about IDBI and how things are happening in the PSU. Side. If I look at that space, probably you may have a view or not. Can you just tell us about Jet Airways, SpiceJet or the Aviation Pack? They are not a part of FNO, but particularly have done very well.
Okay, Jet, after multiple years of fumbling, 6 years to be precise, we have a very distinct upward bias. Volumes have picked up, Pankaj. So one gets the feeling that despite my personal reservations about the sector, I think 550 is crucial. We sustain above 550, ideally from a weekly point of view. I know today is just the first day of the week, or for a 2 trading session point of view. Yes, I think with corrections, I wouldn't say one way, but with corrections, I think Jet looks like doing something positive. SpiceJet is in a medium term and probably a longer term uptrend. It's gone up very sharply. I would wait for a correction, but yes, I think on technical parameters, it's overbought, but good as a buy on declines.
Right. So, in such a names, as you just said that, people are just so scared to buy into aviation names in the last 7-8 years. If somebody gets a cycle right, the returns could be quite phenomenal, right? It works both ways. So when you get it wrong, it really impacts your profitability or your returns. But when you get it right, the returns could also be quite subnormal.
Absolutely, it could be humongous. I think sugar is an example, Pankaj. 7 years of doing nothing, and suddenly it exploded, and all stocks turned out to be multi-baggers.
Right. So sugar, as we're talking about sugar, any view over there? You think that they can still give good returns from here on?
The sad thing is we don't have a sugar index, Pankaj. That would have helped me quite a bit. But something like an EID Parry, which has had a run from 125 to 215. I think for the time being, it's sort of digesting this rise, it's correcting. I think something like that would be interesting, but on lower levels. We are at 190 or so. I would like it at around 165, 170. But that looks interesting, and that can be a buying opportunity on decline, Pankaj.
Right. Any view on GMR infrastructure? It's been up for a few days or so, 16.5 rupees right now. Again, a similar pattern that is seen in some of these sugars and jet type names.
11.2 to almost 17. I have a feeling, yes, I think the bigger picture is turning positive. We've had a couple of rounds of these positive movements. Once again, is this a real thing? Possibly. Medium term, the picture has definitely improved. I think one can expect further upside, but without a correction, I'm not sure. But yes, I think the stock seems to be heading towards 20 or so. But in the current move, I would be more comfortable if a correction comes in. But yeah, it's technically, yes, definitely has improved, and it's promising further upside with or without a correction.
Right. Names like HPCL, BPCL, IOC, all of them have started to see interest again. Also, GAIL and Petronet, we've not spoken about the major rallies over there.
HPCL is breaking out. We've had a few starts which it hasn't delivered on. Oh, it's solid. So it's already broken out today. So that is distinctly positive. And I think even BPCL, Pankaj, we saw a breakout coming in HPCL on the daily chart. BPCL is promising to do that on the weekly chart.
Right. Just a last word on the mid-cap pharma names like Glenmark, Strides. How are they looking in?
Near-term Glenmark is positive. We saw a smart move coming in today, and I think this could continue for a bit more. I think oversold situation. It looks good. In terms of Strides, Arcolab, we've been moving sideways a bit for the last 7-8 trading sessions. I think this seems like a consolidation. We've just moved up today with 1350 as a stop loss or support. I think we are heading towards 1425 in the next 10 to 12 days.
Right. Hemen, thank you so much for taking out time for us. Always a pleasure.